Hey everyone, I'm Alyssa, an Indianapolis Colts cheerleader for the 2024 season, and this is Believe in Colts.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Donald Thomas. And today, Victory Monday? What? I can't believe it. As bad as the Colts have played the first 2 weeks, they walk away with a victory against the Chicago Bears. Now, Donald, what were your initial thoughts of how the game went yesterday?
Okay, so first off, I said to myself, the Colts cannot lose to Chicago. That's just number one. Like, we can't lose to Chicago. We cannot afford to give them, another win on their season because they're not a good football team, in my opinion. They're turning in the right direction. So, but not on the on the expense of us. So, I thought that both teams struggled early, and I said that whoever can make some big plays in the second half is going to be the team to win. And clearly the Colts made some big plays. Excuse me. They played to the end. They truly played to the end. They played all 4 quarters. I think they're still starting slow, but nonetheless, they fought. They had some big plays. Some guys really stepped up and made some really big plays on defense. And that was the tell of the game, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Before I get into it, I just got to remind everybody, BetOnline is the most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, matchup, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at the weekly prizes and your share of $200,000. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or just unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. So going into this, we both knew, hey, you know what? Neither of these offenses are very good. Starting off in the season through the first 2 weeks, neither offense was able to get off on a good footing. And you would think if I gave you the stat line that the Bears absolutely blew out the Indianapolis Colts, when you look at, what this young rookie quarterback for the Bears, Caleb Williams, ended up 33 of 52, 363 yards passing to 2 touchdowns. And, Anthony Richardson was 50%, 10 of 20, 167 yards and no touchdowns. You would think, well, this was a blowout, by the Bears. But then you go and you look at the rest of the stats and you realize, there's a lot more than just passing that'll win you a football game, right?
100%. I mean, you can't look at, the score is not indicative of how this game truly went, right? Like, 363 passing yards is in my opinion, is a kind of a winning performance. When you look at a quarterback, that's a hell of a day. If you throw for 167, you're like, I don't know. Hopefully, some other things worked out. But then you look at, right, well, the Colts had 150 yards total rushing on the day, and Chicago only had 63 yards rushing. So there was an emphasis on stopping the run against this team, but also, us getting the run game going consistently over 100 yards is a winning performance. So, this is going to be the tale of the Colts this year. It's going to be, we have to have the rushing yards to be over 100, well, healthy over 100 in order to, pick up on the struggles of the passing game. And that's just going to be the tale of the tape, to be honest with you. So you can't when you look at the stats, yes, but you have to understand the complexion of the team, right? And so, it's still going to be, some struggles in the passing game with Anthony. We all know that. We're all aware of it. But that's just what it is, and that's what we have to look at. But you look at it from a standpoint of 150 yards rushing. Jonathan Taylor had some pretty decent runs and a hell of a day.
Yes, he did. And I'll be straight with you. All right. I've always been on the side of saying, if a quarterback has to throw over 50 times, they're probably not in a good position and probably ain't winning that game right now. And the big thing for me is the run defense, right? The run defense, as we talked about earlier, was absolutely stellar in this game from compared to what we saw last week. I mean, the weeks before, they only gave up 2.25 yards per carry against the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you mentioned earlier 63 rushing attempts, or 63 rushing yards on 28 attempts, 2.25 yards per carry. That stat, if I told you that the Indianapolis Colts defense is now 12th in the NFL, 12th best run defense at yards per carry in the NFL, that'd be shocking considering what you saw the first 2 weeks, but that's how good they were in week 3. What did you see a difference between the first 2 weeks and last week?
I think, to be honest with you, the Colts defense knew they had to step up. I think they understood that, with some pieces out, some young guys had to step in and play well. I think they understood that the Bears offensive line is not great. And there are plays to be made on defense. And I think that we all know that was an emphasis last week. It had to have been. There was no way that the stopping the run was not talked about multiple times, probably to the point where it was just like, oh my God, again, all right, we get it. But, when you go from being at the bottom of the barrel, come from stopping the run to, creeping up to 12. And yes, it's week 3. So like things, averages can get skewed just because there's not a lot of, data to alter it that much. But nonetheless, they're in the middle of the pack, right? They are the upper half of the league when it comes to stopping. And to be honest with you, they should be there. They should be there. There's no reason why the Colts should not be in the upper half of stopping the run with the guys that they have up front. I think that they just needed to, settle down, understand what their identity was, and I hate to say this, I really do. Colts fans, you're gonna be mad at me, but this is the truth of the matter. Sometimes it takes for your guy that you're leaning on to make a play like DeForest Buckner in the run game, in the pass game, to be out for other guys to understand how good they are and how well they have to play and how good they can be with a guy that goes down, other guys and stuff. And that's the league mantra, right? Next guy up, next guy up, next guy up. Well, hell, it was the whole defense was like, yo, we all got to step up in the DBs and in the secondary and up front. Everybody had to step up and make plays. And I really think that this was a game that was set up perfectly for the Colts to go 0-2. Now this is a game where we can kind of get our confidence back, get a little bit of swag going into these next few weeks. It was perfect, right? It wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination. It was not pretty, but at the end of the day, the Colts did get the win and guys did step up.
Yes, they did. And part of that, I think, has a lot to do with the secondary, a little bit of changes that they had. Nick Cross got moved from free safety to strong safety, and they put Blackman, who came back from injury, now at free safety, to roam. I love the fact, look, I've said this for a while, Cross, hell of a tackler, but he doesn't cover very well.
No.
Put him at strong safety, put him in the box. That's where he belongs. And he did a fine job. Had the 10 tackles total on the day, 6 solo. And let's not say that he didn't get some coverage, because one of those Jaylon Jones interceptions was because Nick Cross got in there and was able to knock that ball out. So, and allowed Jaylon to make one hell of an interception midair, like reached down, grabbed it one-handed, got both feet in, tapped 3 times with his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylon, first interception of his career, got 2 of them.
Yeah, not one but 2. Welcome to the party.
2 of them.
I mean, that's a hell of a day for a guy that just built confidence, young in his career. It's huge, right? And it's contagious. Play like that is very, very contagious. When a guy you saw how happy they were, like they were jumping all over him, and he had the swag and the confidence. And like I say, like when you can see DBs buzzing around like just like little bees being annoying just everywhere. One guy, it's not just one guy to the tackle, it's multiple guys to the tackle. And when guys understand the game plan, and see, here's the deal. I think that, Chicago thinks that they have like this, and they do. They do. Talent-wise with Caleb Williams, he is a generational talent. I will give you that. I'm not going to dispute that hands down. I think he's going to have a great career going forward. But when you have a guy like that who you try to have complex, offensive schemes for, and then you try to dummy it down, when you give him too much complexity early in his career, these things are going to happen, right? So you're going to throw in the double coverages. You're going to throw in what the defense has to do is, where whatever the storm provides, right? So hey, look, we'll create a storm around them. We got to get pressure, confuse them. And then these young guys, like Jones had a great day yesterday, right? Huge for the secondary. I think overall they played a pretty solid game, just back there, and hats off to them. But my main thing that I got from this game was bend, don't break, right? Bend, don't break, right? Like give up 13 points in the fourth quarter, but you did enough not to break, right? It was starting to waver a little bit, and you guys caught some breaks. You guys made some plays. Guys stepped up.
Boy, you want to talk about the epitome of bend, don't break was the Hail Mary at the end of the half, right? Where they threw that football and it looked for sure like it was going to be a touchdown, and they were able to tackle him at the 1 yard line, kept him out of the end zone. That's huge. Now that was like 50 some yards of, tacked on top of his stat numbers, but it made no difference at all in the game.
Yeah. So, that was I was like, because you want to bat that ball down and just catch it on the one. It's too close for comfort. But hey, nonetheless, they did not score.
Jaylon wasn't the only one that got a turnover in this game. Certainly, Latu got his first sack. Ended up being a strip sack in this game in a huge point during the game. What were your thoughts about Latu and his performance in this game?
Very happy for him, right? Very, very happy for him. Young in his career, third NFL game, first round pick. Getting to the quarterback is going to be key. It's huge. It's weighing on him. He feels like he should be making some plays. He's going to get frustrated. He might get down. This was a great time where, this was perfect in the development of his career to be able to get there and get that strip sack, get in there in a crucial time too. Not like the first quarter I beat him and then I don't show for the rest of the game. This is like, fourth quarter when we need it most, make a play. Well, hell, that's why you went and drafted the kid, right? And so, I already knew upstairs and up in that booth, they were going crazy. Like, hell yeah, we, perfect. Like, this is why we went and got this guy. But it's perfect because when Buckner goes down, other guys got to step up. You can't rely on guys. And so I've seen it too much where you're like, all right, cool, he's back. Or we got so-and-so, he's going to make – nah. It's time, fella. Like everyone's in the big leagues. Like, let's go make plays. And, I thought Taekwon played a strong game. I thought he was run game, pass game, creating pressure. I thought that he's really stepping up his game. I got scared a little bit when I thought he got hurt, limping a little bit for a second. Like now, he's got a little bit of an injury bug, but nonetheless, when you can get that guy healthy, I think, on that, those edge rushers are huge. And I think Latu, he showed that he can make a play when you need it. Now I don't need him to disappear again, but in the next few weeks, but just being consistent is going to be key for him.
Yeah, I don't think he's really he earned that sack in my he's been so close on multiple times. Like he's been right there. All he had to do was reach out and grab a quarterback a couple times in this previous game, right? And against the Bears. There was one time he's standing there seeing Williams right in front. All he had to do was reach out and grab him, and Williams, he waited too long, and Williams took off out of the pocket. But I expect to see a lot more of that from Latu coming up. Let's get into some of the offense now. Jonathan Taylor and this offensive line continue to show that they are the backbone of this team. They are third in the NFL in yards per carry as a team. 5.4 yards as a team. That's pretty good. And Jonathan Taylor still continues to make some noise in how he runs. And he got 23 carries. And in my opinion, for the Colts to win any game this year, but with the way the passing game is looking, I feel like that's right around that area that he needs to have, 20 to 25 carries each and every game.
He's the workhorse. Like, the previous game, seeing him on the sideline in the fourth quarter when you need it most, he's the most dynamic player on offense on the team, hands down. We all know it. And so he needs to have the ball, or he needs to be on the field, creating like a diversion a little bit, something where you have to account for him, getting him out in the pass game where someone linebackers that cover him to leave the middle of the field open. Something has to be where he is the focal point or he is in the offense. So this was great. You give him the ball. I mean, it's just inside zone. He cuts it back, makes 2 big cuts. He breaks it for a big run. That big run that he had was huge. And everyone says, oh, that's the old Jonathan Taylor. Well, yeah, I mean, like it is the old Jonathan Taylor. He's never left. He's just got to get healthy. He's got to have, like the right pieces in front of him. And so this was definitely, great to see him get going. Great to see him, dap up TY in the end zone. Like that was fun to see, so it was overall as a fun game. But just having Jonathan Taylor be dynamic, 110 yards rushing, so that's a good day with 23 carries. I mean, he's got to have that. He's got to be around that low 20 mark to mid 20s, if not 30s, feeding the ball, right? But other things have to happen as well. I get that, right? If you're trailing and all that, you got to throw the football a little bit more. But still, having him on the sideline is not what, if I was a coordinator, I would be doing. I would have him out there.
So the reason why we both feel like, and I'm just making an assumption here from some of the stuff that you have talked about in the past, that Taylor in this run game really needs to be a focal point. Anthony Richardson has not lived up to what we were hoping in the passing game. There was multiple times where he was overthrowing wide open receivers. There was even one where there was so open that he threw this lob pass, and it was such a lot where you're used to seeing the rocket come out of his hand, and this guy was open and he threw this lob, and then the safety was able to come down and break it up, right? And when asked after the game, what's up with this? What's going on? What goes through your mind when you're missing these wide open shots? And he was big enough to admit that when he's out there and he sees a guy open, that the pressure of that moment gets to him and it kind of rattles him a little bit, and he's thinking too much about getting the ball to the guy, and he ends up making mistakes. And first off, at least he can admit that to himself. I don't know if he should admit that to the media. But what can a guy who, I'm gonna defend him a little bit here. If he finishes the season playing the whole season and not missing any games, he'll have played more games this year than his entire college and rookie year combined, right? So he's very, very inexperienced. And I think that has a lot to do with that nervousness when guys are open. But what else can he or even the Colts do to help kind of calm his nerves in situations like that, do you think?
Well, you just said it best on why he's doing what he's doing. He's not used to these moments. He's not like, here's the thing, and like this is what frustrates me, but it just frustrates me, right? Like I said it last season. I'll say to the cows come home till it's my last breathing breath on the face of this earth. To play quarterback in the NFL is the hardest position in sports. Debate with me all day. I'll take on any debaters. It's so much going on. So when people get back, when people are watching, they say, "Oh, this guy sucks." You don't understand what goes on pre-snap, during after the snap, what you have to say, dissect. What's coming at you, what's in front of you, and you still have to make a decision, like amongst all that's going on, right? And so you're in charge of 10 guys, understanding you have to know what all 10 guys are doing, what their play is, what their job is on this play. Then you have to dissect what the defense is giving you, and they're not showing you it right off the bat. They're in disguise, right? So if a guy's never seen a lot of these scenarios or a lot of these different defenses in college, we draft him in the first round. Mistake number one. Is he a generational talent? Yes. Is he a generational quarterback? To be seen, right? To be seen. I'm not going to say he's not, because anybody can turn a corner, right? Anybody can turn a corner. But these things are going to happen because there's never been a big SEC game where he's an SEC championship and he's got to make that big time throw and he makes it. Like now that's actually giving him, part of the exam for the next level. right? He's never been really truly tested at that level in college. So when he gets a guy wide open, he's trying to change his passes from a rocket to a touch pass. These are all things that should have been worked on in college that were not worked on in college. So this is why a guy like that is, yes, super talented, but we get frustrated because he's making these mistakes 100%. You think that does not go through his mind? He just openly said it to the media. Now, should he have said it? I don't know. I probably wouldn't have, just because you give him that, now everyone's going to run with it, right? But these are the problems that are going to come up because he's just not used to these moments. This is week 3. This ain't even, wild card game, playoff game, like where you got to be perfect. So we can't expect that man to make these big time plays. Yeah, bro, he can throw the ball downfield to Alec Pierce all game, all year. He can do that. Alec, go get open, burn this guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to throw it up to you. But now when I got to, change up the way, I got to roll out the pocket, try to get a touch pass over the linebacker depth into the secondary, like, that's new to me because now, like, I haven't done all that before. So now, like, if a guy's wide open, I panic a little bit because I'm like, get it to him as fast as I can, and I overthrow him. Or I just take that touch off the ball. It's just nerves. He might be gripping the ball differently because he just gets a little bit nervous. Just all these things he's just not used to. And so these are the things that are going to keep coming up when you throw a pick in the end zone. Is crazy to me, right? Like that ball.
After that beautiful pass play to Alec Pierce. Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? Like right after. So it's so mental. It's so mental. There's so many good quarterbacks that have all the tools, and you'd be like, man, in college, he lit it up. He got to the league, and what happened? This guy, it's mental. He still has those talents. He just mentally can't put it together. And that goes for every position across the board. Like, you can have all the physical attributes, but if you can't mentally, not freak out in the moment, when every kid, right? Every kid, you can't tell me you haven't, Lawrence, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, whether it's bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, bases juiced, World Series, you're 9 years old in your backyard, and you're throwing up a ball, just trying to hit it, with a full count, or it's 1 second on the clock, ball's on the 1 yard line. You got to run the ball to get the ball in the end zone, and it's the Super Bowl. You're down by 4. You got to score a touchdown. Basketball, same thing. Game 7, got to hit the winning jump shot, foul shot, whatever it is. Like, you dream of those moments. Well, very few people actually are in those actual moments. When you get in those moments, you know that this is what you've been talking about. Everybody's dreamed about or had a scenario about growing up. And sometimes guys, when it gets real like that, and it's real life bullets, they just cannot mentally take that, and they can't make the play. And
But at the same time, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only way to get him out of that is to keep giving him those moments, keep giving him that experience, and hope that it actually eases his mind with more reps in those situations. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, but how much time is it? Because at the end of the day, the NFL is about what can you do for me now. This is not the NBA where I draft up potential. This is not the MLB where I draft you in the first round and you don't make it to the big leagues for another 8 years. You see, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not drafting a guy with potential knowing that he's 17, 18 years old and he's going to come into his prime at 22. I got 5 years to bring him off the bench, mold him, have our bumps and bruises. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. That's just what the NFL is, right? So I had a coach that would say, like, I've got a lot of patience, but I don't have a lot of time. I got a lot of patience. I love you. I love you as a player. I know what you can possess. I know what you possess. I know what you can do, but my time is limited. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was that my coach told me that my rookie season, Mike Mazer, right? And I just thought about it, like, dang, that's deep. Mm-hmm. Like, now you got to figure it out. Like, he wants you to figure it out. You better figure it out quick. Because guess what? There's enough, like, so, I don't know what their timetable is with him. I really don't. I hope they let him. I hope it's not a Bryce Young situation. I'm crushed for that kid, by the way. I'm super crushed for him. The way that I'm happy they got to win, and the way they acted in the locker room, I don't even know what's going through that young man's head, but somebody needs to talk with him. But nonetheless, like with Anthony, like, I don't know how much time, right? Like, and fans definitely, they don't have no patience. They don't have a lot of time either, right? So it's just like, they're like, yo, like, we're happy with the win. I'm so happy. It's going to be great for his confidence. You just got to keep working.
Absolutely. Now that this game is over, the Colts are 1-2, no longer at the bottom of the division. Is there still a chance? I mean, it is early. I mean, it's only week 3, but I mean, Texans look pretty good. I don't know. Do you think we still keep going here?
No, listen,
you're a former player.
Yeah, listen, this is the NFL, man. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. And God forbid, knock on wood, with injuries on other teams and guys go down. But listen, Jacksonville's Jacksonville. We'll see about them Monday night. But Jacksonville's Jacksonville. I don't know what I'm gonna get in Tennessee. I don't know what. I don't know how Vrabel's still there. I just don't know. But Houston's the front runner. But a lot can happen in these next few months. A lot can happen. So can the Colts go from to winning the division? 1,000% they can. Will it happen? I don't know. Could it happen? Yes, it very well could happen. Right? You just got to be optimistic, right? But here's the thing: this division it was trending in the right direction of getting strong, and now it's trending in the direction of going back to being weak again around the league, which is crazy to me, but it's really not, because the NFL is like that. And so it just is what it is. But it's up for grabs, so to speak. If Houston can do what they're supposed to do and stay healthy, then everyone's chasing Houston, right? Everybody's chasing them, and then that makes it hard because we lost from the first week of the season. So if they run the table, in the division, that makes it, virtually you're looking at a wild card spot, and they got to have a good record for that. But nonetheless, man, it can happen. It can happen.
Absolutely. This is a situation. I mean, we're only I'm going to say a game and a half since we did lose to them behind the Texans after they lost. Everybody except the Colts are the only team that's won so far this week. So, I mean, Jacksonville obviously plays tonight. So, but patience, need patience, root for your team, want the best. But really the right now, that bottleneck for the Indianapolis Colts offensively and defensively is that quarterback position. And Anthony Richardson, he's on a very short leash with a lot of fans right now. I don't know how short of a leash, as you said, with the coaching staff, but we're going to find out, especially next week against Pittsburgh. Any final words before we get out of here?
Colts fans, enjoy this win. A win is a win, no matter how pretty it is, how ugly it is. There's a lot to learn from in this game. There's still a lot to get better on. Still a lot to work on and get better on. Unfortunately, I don't think the Bears are going to do too much this year. So it's nonetheless, it's a win. We'll take it. We got some tests coming up here in the next few weeks that, just got to continue to, support the team. Those guys are working hard. Trust me, I know they're working hard. I talked to a few of them. They're working, and nobody wants to lose. Just know that. Nobody wants to lose, and they're going to enjoy this win, but it's back to business, and they got a tough opponent coming in next week.
Yep. Well, until next time, I think that's going to do it for us. I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Donald Thomas. This was Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online, and as usual, go Colts.
Go Colts, baby.
Do you believe?